This is a clip coming up of Dolomite, who is known as Rudy Ray Moore, an articulate pimp of 1975 film Dolomite, The Human Tornado. And so back in the 70s, black people liked to watch black exploitation movies, black movies. So we had a lot of black heroes, and I just want you to see, because some people, not even just black people, I believe white people remember seeing these movies with these depictions of black males being the hero and fighting against the oppressor, and also being the ladies' man, and he was an articulate pimp. Now this guy, his name is Rudy Ray Moore, and he was an actor, comedian. I believe he's also a singer. So he had multifaceted of talents. But at a different generation, a different time, a different place, you may not have looked at this as being negative, being the ladies' man. And then we live in a American cultural society where everything is based on being more patriarchal, where the man is the head, and he's the leader, and he has to be the breadwinner. And so now this is coming from black culture, where it signifies the man is strength, and he's power. And here you have a black man, but they have to use him as being a pimp. So he has this, he's not only powerful and strong, but he also woos all the women. And it just doesn't have to be the black females. It could be white females, Asian females, females from different countries. It's something about the black man and the strength and the power that he entails. So you see this in these movies of the 70s. So you have young black boys growing up during this time, and they see this pimp, ladies man, violence. Now time is progressing, and you see that pimps are being glorified. And so you have a culture where there's not only racial injustice and inequality, but you have a lot of stereotypes. And so some people, if they don't see their way of success in other avenues of education, and they're being denied good housing, good education, they see as a way of, let me improve my hustle game in the street. Let's do this in a way that only we know how to do this. And so the rules of capitalism is control, power, greed, money coming up. So even if you have to exploit women to do it, this is what you'll do. Not really realizing this is devaluing women and degrading women, and it's misogyny. It's more looked at as, this man, he's got power, he's got money, he's got articulate behavior, he knows how to dress, what restaurants and who to hang out with. And now you have Bishop Magic Don Juan. He's a celebrity pimp, and I don't know if he still does this. I believe I read somewhere that he was no longer actively doing this profession, but he was actually in that movie clip that just passed, American Pimp. He talked about his lifestyle and how women really loved him, and how his friends, they really women gravitated to him. He had this talent about himself. I believe he even also was a preacher, if I'm not mistaken, a reverend. So, and if you look in the black community, there's a lot of preachers who came from out of this type of environment. And then they're also called the pimp god. They have all these little slogans, like Mac Daddy, Pimp Daddy, Big Daddy, and all this entail with sex and how to treat women and basically being, you know, over many women and having them to go out on the street, sleep, risk their lives. They could be with somebody sadistic, they could get killed and murdered, but they're risking their life, making money because they think that this man adores them. He's promised them the world, promised them clothes, shelter, food, whatever, and that he'll take care of them, their children, whatever, but she better make his money. She has to faithfully go out and sleep with different men she doesn't know, people, risk getting disease, being attacked to make this man some money, and she makes him rich. Now, this is a rapper, Too Short, a rapper of the 80s and 90s. Most of his songs are about women, calling them the B word, bitches, hoes, sluts, derogatory names. This is what's being listened to by young black males. And so they listen to this music, and some are able to say, okay, this is just music. These are guys talking about their bad experiences or what they've seen in their neighborhoods. But what we don't realize is that young boys, when they hear this music, they glorify these rappers. They think, you know, we're in a really bad situation. We don't have no food to eat, nowhere to go, no clothes. We don't have good schools. We don't have good teachers. But they hear these rappers and they hear this music and how to treat women and how to get money and how to get a come up, how to be drug dealers, how to be killers, pimps, pushers, players, how to slap women up and treat your woman, how to check your woman. So this is the kind of stuff that they're hearing. So when they grow up, what do you think they're going to do when they get in relationships and how they treat women, how they view women, period? That is the way they're going to view women because of what they've listened to, what they've grown up around, what they've heard. And the females, you too, you hear it and you think this is normal. This is sexy. Men like this are sexy. He has money. He's coming up. He's doing things. He's feeding me. He's paying my bills and my rent. But he's calling you bees, sluts, and whores, and he's beating your brains out. But you love him, even to death, literally. This is a rapper called Sugar Free. He raps often about being a pimp and being violent to women. They got to make his money. How he degrades women in his music. He says where a woman's place is. And most of these guys, they've either come from neighborhoods where they saw this or they themselves have actually been participants in this lifestyle. Some of them have actually had brushes with the law. And they may even talk about that in interviews, and they may even talk about friends or different things they've been involved in that have been legal issues with the law having surrounding about these type of behaviors that they've lived in their lives, being pimps or hustlers, players, drug dealers, gangsters. And so the next clip you're going to see is Snoop Dogg. Most people know who he is. He's still pretty big and popular. You know, you might see album covers, and to be honest, most of us have listened to this, and it's not just in the black community. Other communities, other white people mostly will listen to rap music. They say they don't. They say they don't like it. They say they don't like the way they talk about women. But I've seen in this time, in 2016, I've seen a lot of white rappers doing the same thing that black rappers have done. They wear the tattoos. They talk about women bad. They have like a lot of profanity and violence in their music. The same thing. So let's not just make it seem like it's just a black thing. It isn't. I've seen it in the Hispanic culture too. They got Hispanic rappers that do the same thing. They got tattoos. They talk about gang life. They talk about violence. They talk about in drug cartels, narco music. So it's happening in other cultures too. So let's not get that twisted, okay? But what it's all doing is making women look bad, making women devalued, degrading women, And it's also making the males look bad. They think they don't look bad, but it's making them look violent. It's making people not want to trust them, not want to hire them. It's making people judge them based on how they're dressed, because they assume, oh, this is a thug, this is a gangster, this is one of those guys that's going to treat women harsh. So they view you on that because that's what you talk about in your music, and that's what you value, and that's what the way you live your life, and that's the way they're going to look at you. Movie called Hustle and Flow, a movie about a pimp becoming a well-known rapper and a struggle that he was struggling to be famous, and his struggle to fame, in other words. So we've seen this movie. Some of us have seen it. Those who haven't seen it, if you want to go out and see it, go. I'm sure you can find it somewhere. You can rent it. Just put the movie title in, Hustle and Flow. I'm sure it might even be on YouTube. You might can see it for free. So a lot of this all entails money, capitalism, how to treat each other, how to control one another, living in a patriarchal society, and how men view women negatively, and how they don't view them as being human, or they view them as maybe it's like sex slavery, putting women out on the streets so they can be exploited. And who would know anything about this? Hugh Hefner, glorified wealthy famous pimp and founder of Playboy and the Bunny House. So you're going to see a clip of him. So, like I said, it's not just in the black culture, but you know what? People see this and they say, you know what? We could do this too. He's making money and we can make money. We can make money off of women and we can look like pimps and look good. Only thing is you don't see people talking a lot about other cultures as much as you do maybe if you see a poor minority doing this and making a lot of money off of it. Then he's bashed in a way where it looks like he's the only one that's participating in this type of industry, which that's not true. Yes, it's wrong that he's doing it, but he's not the only one. DJ Quick, he's a rapper of the 80s and 90s. He raps about women, the streets, the ghetto, sex, drugs. Most rappers do. So after we get past this, you'll see how the women look, and so this might explain why there's a lot of gender bashing and hate, in the black community. Because where's the respect? Where is the respect for women when you see this going on constantly? Okay? And then where's the respect of women's dignity and pride for themselves to exploit themselves and put themselves out there in these videos and do this to themselves willingly, knowing that it's putting their own self down? Some women have voluntarily wanted to be in this. So let's not just blame it all on guys to say that it's just them. This is an African American family. Looks normal, like a normal life. Like everything is traditional. And then you have a shift where now you have black males saying they do not want to be with black females. And they would rather be with white females. Okay? Some of that may be because they really do care about this individual and they want to be with this person. There's no malice behind it. But some of this might be because they hate themselves. And they hate anything that looks like them and represents the black culture. So they'd rather be with someone else, thinking maybe that's a come up. So now you see different cultures and their relationships. And maybe they also have their own issues. So it's not just in the black community. It's not just in the white community. Other communities, other cultures have their ups and downs in relationships. Hispanic cultures, they usually have the male leading the family. Sometimes it could be the other way around. And so now this is a white woman and she's in shape. So there's been a lot of mockery about black women and them not staying in shape and them not wanting to get their hair wet. But white women do. That came up in a video. And this male, he said that black women don't want to exercise and they don't want to work out simply because they don't want to get their hair wet because it messes up their hair. So that's why they don't stay in shape. So we have a barrage of hate videos directed at black women. And then we have some women that are finally standing up for themselves and speaking out. But black men hate to hear black women speaking out on these issues. Let's talk about sex. Women have decided to, black women, in other words, go into interracial relationships or maybe alternative relationships or maybe remain single because of the hatred that they're getting or we're getting from black males. And why is it? Maybe in the earlier part of this clip, a lot of that had a lot to do with it. Just how males are viewing females. And it's just not the black males doing it. It's other males from other cultures doing it, and they view all women like this. Rick Ross, a rapper who talks about drugs, his hustle game, women, the streets, violence, being a drug dealer. And look at all these women. Okay, if you really want a good relationship and you really want to be in a good relationship with someone, you want it to be monogamous. You don't want some man who he's sleeping with all these different women. He has a lot of baby mamas. And the man is the same thing. He doesn't want to be with a woman who's sleeping with a whole bunch of different partners, different men, and she has a lot of children from different partners. I mean, it's the same thing. We could go all day with this. Then you had this rapper Nelly. I don't know if you remember the song It's Getting Hot in Here, Take All Your Clothes Off. He's a rapper. He talks about his songs about women, sex, money, probably drugs in there, and how to treat women, how to get women. And so you see how his videos look. And some people might look at it and be like, oh, this is just a fun song. We want to have fun. We want to listen to the music, have a good time, and party. But we have a big problem in the black community where there's a social divide, a gender divide. So I'm bringing that out there. That is evident. We have a lot of problems in our community when it comes to sex, when it comes to how we're valued as women and how we're treated. So we've gone to dating white men. That's not necessarily going to save you from some of the things that people go through in relationships, ladies. I mean, like, if you are in relationships with these other males, they might also have their own views of how to treat women, and it may not always necessarily be positive. But maybe just being with somebody from a different culture, maybe it's getting a break away from having to deal with some of the things that you know are evident in your own culture that you all struggle with. So maybe it's a new experience for you and him to be with somebody of a different background, different race, nationality, maybe speaks a different language. So that brings about more unifying in a relationship. Now, this is a rapper, 50 Cent. He raps about women, drugs, sex, money, the streets, and violence, once again. And you also going to see him with a lot of women. So let's take it all the way back to that Dolomite clip with the man, the black man, and all this power and all these women. Now, when you have little boys that are impressionable and they're growing up in these communities where there's not a lot of resources and they are looking for boys, it's natural for boys to look for heroes, girls too. But boys in particular, they're looking for role models. This is what they're seeing. And the girls, is this what they seeing? This is what the girls are seeing. This is how to come up. Women too, the same thing. You know, these are the things they're seeing. This is why we have these issues that we have. Look at what this woman is doing. putting herself out there. And then we have Mystical. He's a rapper in the 90s. He raps about women, sex, drugs, violence. On February the 22nd, 2012, he was arrested for domestic abuse and battery. Some of these people have actually lived the music that they're rapping about. They themselves are either a product of this, they've seen this in their home, or they themselves have participated in it. They probably grew up in a home like this, and then they are not doing nothing but mirroring what they were raised around is violence. Violence towards women, violence and disrespect. You know, maybe they were disrespected as children. So there's a lot of brokenness going on. Look at this woman. Confessions of a Video Vixen. Superhead. If you don't know who she is, look her up. Now I'm being impartial here. I'm trying to say that this is not just males. You've got females portraying themselves here, putting their bodies out there, letting themselves hang out. And it's not just in the black community. Let me say this once again. It's in other communities too, where this is looked at as this okay, this is what we're going to do. We're going to put ourselves out here. This is the way to get the man. Make yourself a slut. Make yourself a slut so that you can get out here and get these men to do whatever you want. But when they see women like this, oh, she's too masculine, you know, we don't like that. You know, they like it when you're naked and you got your legs open, but they don't want to see you athletic. They don't want to hear nothing about your college education. But now we've got a shift in society in this generation now where we've got gay people. Gay people have been around, folks. This is nothing new. But I believe what makes people feel threatened by the gay community is that, oh, this changes everything up now. It's not just male and female no more. It's female and female, male and male, and whatever in between. So now you got this rapper, female rapper, Queen Latifah. She raps. She's a lesbian. And she talked about respect for women and often talks about women's rights in her music. She was in the early 80s and 90s. She has a talk show. I don't know if it's still active, but you don't really hear too much buzz about her. And she's not really regarded in the same way as Ellen DeGeneres is. Mind you that Ellen DeGeneres is white. She's a lesbian, and she has a talk show. And, you know, you hear some people saying all these great things about her, but when it comes to the whole idea of being a lesbian and being black, no way. But if you white, okay, we'll listen to you. See what this does to people? Just think about it. And it's okay for lesbians to sleep with the man, but not with each other, without the man. Just look at what we do to one another. Look at what we do to one another. I don't believe any of this is fair to degrade women. But if they finally decide to find somebody who they feel compatible with, why do you still put them down? These are questions we should ask.